Hey, hello everyone. Thanks so much for joining me today. My name is Natalie Slyman. I'm the content marketing manager at Benchmark Email. I want to go over some housekeeping items before we jump right in. If you have to get off early, do not worry. We will be sending you the recording along with the slides after the webinar. So be on the lookout for that email. And if you have any questions, please make sure you put them in the question section of the toolbar, and I will reserve some time to get to those at the end of the webinar. Um, let's see. And yeah, if I don't get to your question, just respond to the email that we send after the webinar, and we'll make sure and answer anything that you need. Okay, so let's jump right in. Today we're going to be talking about getting up to speed, the latest marketing trends you can't miss. I'm very excited about this webinar, and I'm very excited about the theme. I hope most of you have seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It is a classic, so I'm assuming you have. Okay, so let's chat about why we're here. Okay, so let's face it, marketers are juggling a lot: campaigns, meetings, reporting, strategy. And while we're deep in the work, things can change around us. And I'm sure you've seen it happen before. So this webinar is going to serve as your shortcut to staying current without spending hours in research rabbit holes. We've rounded up fresh trends in social media, email marketing, and broader marketing tools so you can kind of hit the ground running with confidence. Okay, let's discuss first things first, social media trends. These kind of seem to be changing the most. Social media, it's like every time you open up an app, it's something new has happened. They evolve faster than really any channel out there. The algorithms shift, content formats rise and fall, and user expectations grow. But you don't need to chase every single trend. I mean, doing so is pretty impossible. You just need to stay informed enough to prioritize what matters. So let's dive into what's really working right now on social media. Okay, so sorry. Trend number one, short form videos reign supreme. From TikTok to Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, short form video continues to dominate. But why? It's prioritized in algorithms, it encourages quick engagement, it's shareable and discoverable. Marketers should consider repurposing existing content into bite sized clips. You don't need a dance routine, just value and clarity. So the reason short form videos are so popular is because they don't require a lot of brain power. When you see a short form video, you know you're going to get satisfaction quickly. So a lot of people engage with these shorter form videos because, they know it's not going to take a lot of time to kind of get the benefits of this video. So the best way to kind of utilize this trend is, like I said, maybe repurpose existing content into bite-sized clips. That way you're not sort of like reinventing the wheel and you're not starting over from fresh. Okay, another social trend, social search. I know you're probably thinking like, what is this? Sometimes I've even noticed myself doing this. Instead of going to like a website or a news site, I will search social media for something in particular. And it's also very good with current events and stuff like that. So you might be surprised to learn, though, that many users, especially younger audiences, are using TikTok specifically as a search engine. That means discoverability now includes in-app SEO. So you're encouraged to use keywords in your captions on your social posts, as well as include on-screen text, and add hashtags that reflect search intent. So this visual right here kind of, uses all of those elements. It has, keywords in the caption. It uses on-screen text, and it has hashtags, as you can see. Another thing that it does is, if you see at the bottom, it has a song tied to it. That's also something that's recommended because you can search posts by songs being used. It's kind of wild, the search capabilities that social media affords you. So it's kind of, in your best interest to start thinking about social platforms, not just as engagement tools, but as search tools as well, especially if you're trying to target a younger audience. Okay, so social trend number three, authentic lo-fi content. We actually just did a blog post on lo-fi content. So if you're unfamiliar with what it is, um, I'm going to explain a little bit more here, but you can also search our blog for lo-fi content, and that blog post will come up and provide you with some information. But basically, the polished, perfect Instagram aesthetic has taken a backseat to real, raw, unfiltered content. So lo-fi equals lower production value, but higher relatability. So what does this look like? Think behind the scenes clips, unscripted product reactions. Let's see here, creator style storytelling. So it's really kind of authenticity focused, because that's what builds trust, and trust drives conversions. And to kind of convey this, we have the scene in Ferris Bueller where, you know, he's trying to get into the restaurant. And so you see like behind the scenes of him trying to get into character. So yeah, so if you remember that scene, it's pretty funny. Okay. So those were the three big social media trends. Let's kind of shift now and talk about email marketing. Email marketing also is something that seems to kind of change or have new updates pretty regularly, but you know, it's important to keep an eye on those because email continues to deliver high ROI. Today, smarter design, smarter automation, and smarter copy win in the inbox. So let's kind of explore these three trends that are shaping how successful marketers are using email. Okay, so email trend number one, design for deliverability. So smart design equals more eyes on your email. So you know, a beautiful email, you could probably spend tons of time putting it together, but it does not matter if nobody sees it. So design now has to be optimized for both engagement and deliverability. So some tips to kind of keep in mind that will not only help your emails be beautiful looking, but also ensure they make it to the inbox is use fewer images and more live text. So you don't want to have a ton of images in your email because that could make it render slowly, or it could make it take a long time to get to the inbox. And make your CTA buttons and hierarchy mobile friendly. A lot of people are, you know, viewing their emails on their mobile devices. So if your email doesn't render correctly on a mobile device, nobody's going to read it. And, you know, it's going to affect your deliverability score. And then, you know, another one is avoid spammy visuals like deceptive GIFs, however you want to say it, or overused emojis. You know, sometimes, I don't know if you guys have received a lot of spam emails, but I have. And they tend to include those kind of images. And it just looks a little fishy sometimes if there's too many. And it also kind of degrades the quality. So we don't recommend doing a ton of that. While some of it can be good for engagement, don't go overboard. And then clean, accessible, and responsive is the name of the game. So you want a clean design with like enough, you know, white space included in your email. You want to make sure it's accessible and responsive. So, you know, keep in mind design tips that, you know, can make your emails readable to all audiences. And, you know, responsive, like we said, you want this to render in various mobile devices so that people, wherever they're reading their email, they can access and read it appropriately. Okay, so the next email trend, conversational copy converts. Okay, so email copy is shifting from broadcast style to friendly one-on-one tones. You may think this might seem unprofessional, but people don't like when things feel very stiff and you know, unnatural. They like being talked to like a human being. So, you know, what's working in this regard is personalization. So, you know, beyond hi and then using someone's first name, we always recommend, you know, keeping track of your users or your customers' previous purchase patterns so you can, you know, send them information or products that might be of interest to them based on that. That's some really smart personalization tactics. So yeah, so just, you know, kind of taking that extra step when it comes to personalization so you can make them feel like you really know their needs. And then email intros that sound like real people are talking. So natural, not, you know, salesy or using a lot of jargon. And yeah, like fewer buzzwords, more clarity. So just a reminder, not everybody understands the words of your industry, the words you use on a day-to-day basis, maybe behind the scenes. So you don't want to necessarily use that same language when speaking to your customers. You want to make sure and kind of not dumb it down, because I hate that phrase, but make it easy for them to understand, because the reality is most people don't know a ton about other industries back end things like that. So you really just want to make sure you're making things accessible for people, and so that they can easily understand. And just talk to your reader like a person, not a target audience. Make them feel like you know them. Okay, email trend number 3: smarter sending with AI and automation. So send like a pro, even if you're a team of one. Okay, so one of the most game-changing shifts in marketing is AI and automation. These tools aren't just buzzwords, they're powerful ways to work smarter and create better experiences for your audience. So here's how they help you send smarter. So there's smarter timing. AI can analyze when individual contacts are most likely to open emails and automatically schedule messages at the most optimal times. So instead of blasting a message at 9 a.m. for everyone you reach each subscriber when they're actually most engaged. That's something you wouldn't necessarily understand without the help of automation and without the help of AI that can kind of pull that information for you. And then there's smarter content. So AI content creation tools like ChatGPT, you can get content suggestions that help craft higher performing emails based on your goals, audience behavior, and even current trends. So this is a really great tactic for overcoming creative blocks and boosting open rates. Also, with benchmark emails automation tools, you can set up entire sequences like welcome series, or re-engagement flows, milestone celebrations, and let them run while focusing on strategy. So you don't have to kind of be a professional writer to put together content that is really good for in your emails. When you use a tool like ChatGPT, you can kind of give them prompts that will help them output content that is what you need and what will help your emails perform really well. So make sure that when you're using these tools, you're getting very specific with what you're looking for. So, if you do have a specific goal in mind, make sure you let that tool know. It's also pretty important to share audience credentials with these tools. Let them know who your audience is, what kind of behavior you're seeing them do in regards to your email. And even if there's, current trends in the email space that you want to utilize that you're not really sure how, but you want ChatGPT to kind of help you with that, make sure you let it know. These tools are wonderful as long as you give them what they need to perform for you. And then there's smarter segmentation. So automation allows you to trigger emails based on specific behaviors, like when someone signs up, clicks a link, or hasn't engaged in a while. So, just know you're not just sending to a list, you're responding to individual actions in real time. So segmentation is when you take your list and you divide it into portions based on certain behaviors or other criteria. So automation allows you to not only tap into that criteria, but then to put together and send emails that align with that criteria. Wow, cannot say that word today. And this is just another element of personalization. So personalization and segmentation really do go hand in hand. And, both happen to be elements of email marketing that are really capable of implementing with automation and AI. Okay, you're moving right along. I love the scene in the movie where the car the car valets steal his car. Okay, so let's just discuss some tools, creativity, and strategy, and what these kind of trends look like. So marketing isn't just about channels; it's also about how we create, plan, and launch. So these next 3 trends reflect new ways to do more with less and connect more deeply. So I know you all are most definitely busy individuals. Doing more with less is probably what you're trying to look to do every single day. So this is kind of where we're going to discuss that. Okay, so trend number 1, I'm not sure if any of you have used Canva, but it's amazing. Canva is a marketing team essential. And it's great. It used to just be great to create designs and creative elements, which is wonderful for someone like me who has not an ounce of design knowledge or schooling in her background. But now it has like a whole suite of tools. Oh no, we're jumping ahead. That, kind of expand its capabilities. So, it went from kind of being like a nice to have to now I would consider it a must have. So you can do things like video editing, you can create a brand kit and templates for your brand. That is something that is so beneficial for small business owners who maybe cannot hire or even, look for an agency to create their brand kits and, all their branding elements. You can actually do that yourself and it will look professional all within Canva. And then there's collaborative design with teams. They have this teams element that if you, are able to sign up for that offering, you can actually collaborate with other members on your team in the platform so that you reduce any sort of like redundancies and making sure that if there's a lot of eyes that need to see something in review, you can easily do that within the platform. So whether or not you're a designer, it's really the go-to for fast professional marketing assets. I use it all the time when we're creating blog post images, but it really is simple to use and there's just so much in there. You can even design an email within Canva and then upload it to Benchmark Email. We actually have a blog post on that. So if you want to search our blog for Canva, that will pop up. And I think we have a few other blog posts about Canva as well. So definitely check those out. Okay. Trend number 2, location-based targeting is back. So what is location-based targeting? So it's also referred to as geo-targeting. So it's local context is one of the most powerful ways to make your messaging more relevant. So, keep in mind, you're not just speaking to a subscriber, you're speaking to a Californian in June or, a New Yorker on a rainy Tuesday or a Texan during barbecue season. So location-based targeting is when you can kind of tap into the exact location of your subscriber and use location-based specifics to refine your personalization. So it matters because it increases relevance. So by referencing local events, weather, holidays, or store locations, your message becomes immediately more relatable and timely. And that relevance often translates into higher engagement and better conversions. It enables smarter promotions. So if you have different deals in different markets, or if you're hosting a local event or running a regional campaign, geo targeting lets you tailor your message to match. And it boosts performance across channels. So this isn't just about email. With the right setup, your social ads, SMS messaging, if you're doing that, and even website pop-ups can reflect a visitor's location, creating a seamless, relevant experience. So, if you're doing a promotion and you're using various channels to promote, and if that promotion happens to be location-based, you want that to sort of tie into every element and have that be present for someone that is in that location. And it also helps global brands feel more human. So large or remote audiences can still feel like you're just around the corner when your content speaks to their local life. So even if you're a big brand and you're basically everywhere, you can still be very specific to your subscribers or your customers within certain regions. Okay, so how can you use this though in email marketing? So a simple way is just to segment your list by region, time zone, or zip code. You can send weather-specific product promos, which are a thing. You can promote in-store events or local services. And you can use dynamic content blocks to show different images or CTAs based on location. So the takeaway here is that where someone is can matter just as much as who they are. GEO targeting helps you be the brand that just gets it because you're showing up with the right message in the right place. So I don't know if you guys remember, but Ferris Bueller's Day Off took place in Chicago. So we have a lovely little map of Chicago and then the city skyline for the image here. Okay. And then trend number 3, user-generated content is the new trust signal. So trust is everything, right? And consumers trust other consumers. User-generated content like reviews, testimonials, or customer videos build authenticity and influence. So when you think of user-generated content, I want you to think of, when someone you follow posts something about a product they're using and how much they like it, or, a video of someone actually using a product or a service. That's user generated content. It's when the actual user posts that content for the brand. So a lot of influencers are doing this. And, it's like that modern day, it's the modern day like word of mouth, basically. So, how you can start using user generated content is by inviting your audience to co create. You can repost tag content. So, if somebody's tagging you guys, you can repost it on your Instagram stories or on your Facebook page. You can also include real voices in email, web, and ads. So, like, including a testimonial quote in your emails from an actual customer is a great way to do that. Or, I'm sure you've seen ads and commercials when, they use real customers to explain their experience. You can also feature real customer photos in your emails or on your website. You can run hashtag campaigns or contests that invite submissions. So that's when you think of a hashtag related to a certain experience or submission that you want, and then people post relating to that and use that hashtag, and then you can repost those images that they've posted. And then another one is turn positive reviews or social comments into branded graphics. So, if someone leaves you a positive review, you can turn that into an image in some way and use that in your emails and your social campaigns, things like that. User generated content doesn't have to be complicated, it just has to be genuine. Obviously, you don't want to like pay someone to leave a good review. That is very shady, and that could really that could be detrimental to your efforts towards building trust. And when done well, not only does user generated content build credibility, but also makes your audience feel like they're part of something bigger, which keeps them coming back. It is a great way to build a community. And building a community is just another way to kind of engage and keep your customers happy. And, it's a great way to kind of boost your brand as well. Okay, we went through a lot today, and this was a quick one. Okay, so let's chat about the key takeaways. Number 1, social media is about searchability, authenticity, and short form. So I know social media is kind of the aspect, it's one of the elements of marketing that tends to get the least amount of attention when teams are small, or when you just don't have enough time to dedicate to these efforts. And I think a lot of that comes with, because it is changing so quickly and it's really hard to stay up to speed with social media. It's why a lot of companies hire younger professionals to man up their social media, because they feel like they've got the knowledge behind that puzzle. But as long as you kind of keep the searchability of email, social media at your forefront, and you're authentic in your posts, and you're focusing on short form content videos that can engage, I think you're going to do a great job of building your social media presence and building your engagement with your audience there. And then email marketing is about designing smarter, writing better, and sending intentionally. So keep in mind that the way your emails look matter, not just for engagement, not just for making sure your subscribers enjoy looking at your emails, but it matters for deliverability as well. It can mean whether or not your email makes it to the inbox at all. So design is a big one. And then make sure you're writing better content. And if you need to use AI tools to help you with that, there is no shame in that game. And I actually encourage you to do that, because again, small teams don't have the capacity to, dedicate lots of time to brainstorming and putting together copy. And not everybody is just a natural writer. So if writing better means giving smarter prompts to ChatGPT to churn out content that is really, engaging and fun and good for your brand, then do it. And send intentionally. Make sure you are sending quality content, that you are giving people the content that they want, and that you are providing value. And then last, the general marketing tools like Canva, geo-targeting, and user-generated content are helping marketers move faster with impact. So get familiar with Canva. There is, I believe, a free service to use. You can kind of play around with it. And then if you have it in your budget to maybe upgrade once you feel more comfortable, look into doing that. But Canva is your friend. It can help you get more done. It's almost like the design agency you may not be able to afford to hire, or that you just don't have the time to vet to hire. And then keep in mind with geo targeting. So know where your audience is. Again, email marketing tools like Benchmark Email can help you tap into that. And so that you can kind of have location-based personalization, which is really good for engagement. And then user-generated content. So find ways to get your users, your customers, or even your potential customers involved with your brand in a way that helps you build a community and use that content to push out to your audience and build your audience even more. Okay, now we've come to the question portion of the webinar, and I'm not sure, let's see, I think we have one question. Oh, thank you, Denise. She just was telling me I did a nice job. Love hearing that. And if any of you have stayed around for the end of Ferris Bueller, you'll know that he pops up again and he's wondering why you're still here. It's over. Go do great marketing. So I hope you all learned something today. And like I said, we will be sending you an email afterwards. I'm gonna have the recording in this email, and I'm gonna have the slides as well. Here, this is going to be included. And when you get the slides, you can click on these links and they will send you to our blog posts. So I mentioned some blog posts during the webinar, but there's a few others here that pertain to what we discussed that go in depth and share some tips. So I definitely recommend you read these. They're going to help you kind of stay ahead of the game and make sure that marketing isn't moving too fast, passing you by. And then this last link here is a link to sign up for a free account if you have not already. You can tap into some of those great features that we mentioned, like segmentation and personalization and geo targeting to, kind of stay ahead of the email marketing game. Oh, and design too. We have wonderful templates. And again, like I said, you can design your emails in Canva and upload them to Benchmark as well. So we are here for you if you need anything. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And we will see you in the next webinar. Thanks, everyone.